Welcome to Her Money Revolution. I'm your host, Angela Brooks, your guide on this journey to becoming a wealthy woman. As a certified financial planner, business owner, and wealth advisor, I am on a mission to simplify the conversation around investing and to help women generate more wealth by making their money work for them. Join me as we navigate powerful financial planning strategies to help you achieve your personal and professional goals. This podcast is your go-to destination for no fluff, easy to implement financial and investing advice. If you are ready to achieve audacious financial goals, dream beyond boundaries, and generate massive wealth for you and your family, this podcast is for you. Grab a notebook, let's get started. Welcome back to Her Money Revolution, a podcast where we empower women to grow their wealth by making their money work for them. I'm your host, Angela Brooks, and in today's episode, we're going to continue the conversation from the last episode, and that's talking about 6 practical steps you can take to cultivate a positive money mindset and grow your wealth. Let's get started. Number 1, forgive your past financial mistakes. No one is perfect. Chances are you've made multiple bad financial decisions over the years. Perhaps you paid too much for a house because you were absolutely in love with it. Or maybe you're like me, and you bought a house in 2007 at the top of the market before the crash and then sold it in 2014 and had to write a big check to get out of it. Trust me, that was a painful financial decision that we had to make. So whatever decisions you've made in the past are in the past. You might still be suffering from the consequences of those mistakes, but you don't have to continuously beat yourself up over it. Money is tricky, and not everyone is taught how to manage it properly. Most people aren't taught how to manage money. Most of us find our way through trial and error. The 2 most important things that you can learn from your mistakes is learn from your mistakes and forgive yourself. Give yourself grace. Maybe even rephrase your thinking when it comes to the poor money decisions that you've made in the past. If you have debt, remember the dinners that you went out with friends. Remember the trips that you took or the education that you paid for. It created memories. Now, don't romanticize that, but remember that it served a purpose. And now you have the chance to pay off that debt and to create an even better life moving forward. Number 2, understand your thoughts and emotions surrounding money. Our relationship with money often starts in childhood. Reflect on early experiences with money and how they have shaped your current beliefs. When I was young, my parents didn't have much. We didn't go without. We weren't poor, but we didn't go on the big vacations. We didn't have the fancy cars. We didn't have the designer bags or the boats and the cottages. And I can remember I was the middle child, and I always got my sister's hand-me-downs. All of her clothes I then was able to wear. And other than her shoes, she has bigger feet than I do. So thankfully, I didn't have to wear her shoes. But my parents worked hard. And my dad, he was in heating and cooling until he changed his career and started a business building houses. My mom volunteered at church and later became pastor. I have amazing, wonderful childhood memories. Most of my memories are actually with my grandparents. They were wonderful, wonderful, wonderful people. But in my early teens, I became very aware that I was the poor kid. I lived on a busy street, and right across the street, they were building a new neighborhood with massive homes. And I recognized that I had a small house. I didn't have the things that my neighbors had. I didn't have the RVs parked in the driveway. I became very aware of the lack of money that my family had. And around the same time, I became best friends with a girl named Emily, and she's still a dear friend of mine, but she was rich. She had all the things. She had the fancy cars and the cottage and the boat and the international trips. And her parents were very successful. Her dad owned a business, and her mom was and still is a financial advisor. And it's actually really fun. I get to see her once in a while and talk financial planning, and we have great memories. But I don't recall or don't ever remember feeling jealous or envious of Emily, but I knew I wanted what she had. I looked at her lifestyle and I thought, I want this one day. I want to be able to provide my kids the things that Emily had. I don't want to struggle for money. So I hustled. I started working. And even before I became friends with Emily, I always had a little entrepreneurial side of me. I figured out ways to make money. I had a lemonade stand when I was younger. Said I lived on a busy street, and a couple houses down there was the Kent Trails. Well, people would ride their bikes and rollerblade, and they'd have to stop because of the busy road. So I would set up a lemonade stand there, and I had a poster, and on the poster I had different sizes, and I don't recall the cost or the price of them, but I had large, medium, and small. And then if you wanted music, I would play my clarinet, and that had a cost. If you wanted entertainment, I would do cartwheels or back handsprings, and there was a cost to that. And people paid me. People paid a little girl to do a back handspring, and I made a lot of money. I put it in a bank account, in a savings account. I didn't invest it. I didn't learn about that until later in life. I always had side gigs. I babysat. I made sure my calendar was booked full of babysitting gigs. I even dog sat, and I don't even like dogs. I mean, I like dogs, kind of, but not really. But I liked the money. So I would dog sit and make really decent money. I even worked at a Chinese restaurant before I was legally able to, and they paid me cash under the table. So I had a full-time job since I was 15. My point is, growing up in my family where we didn't have an abundance of wealth, yet we didn't go without, but my relationship with money was shaped by a combination of hard work, resourcefulness, and a strong drive to improve my financial situation. These experiences contributed to a mindset that values financial stability, it values hard work, and it values the pursuit to a better lifestyle. I want to encourage you to understand what influences you have. What influences can help you continue to cultivate a positive money mindset and make informed decisions as you strive to achieve your own financial goals. So we need to understand your thoughts and your emotions around money. It's critical. Proverbs 4:7 says, "The beginning of wisdom is this: get wisdom. Though it cost you all you have, get understanding." Embrace the wisdom that you can gain from your past to guide you moving forward, to make wise financial choices. You might think that you already understand your thoughts patterns when it comes to money, but taking a deeper look might actually provide some really interesting insight. Try this experience for an entire day. Each purchase, each financial decision that you make, take a moment and write down your thoughts and your emotions that you're experiencing. What's running through your head? How do you feel? Be honest, be thorough, and at the end of the day, go over everything with an open mind. Read those notes. You might find that certain aspects in your finances are actually stressing you out more than you even realized. Or perhaps you purchased something that you thought would bring you joy, but instead it brought fleeting happiness and then extreme heavy guilt afterwards. Now listen, you should in no way feel like you can't spend money on yourself from time to time, but it's good to take an honest inventory of how you are feeling and how you are spending so you can create better spending habits for a better mental health. Number 3, realize that comparing yourself to others is a losing game. Comparing yourself to others is one of the most dangerous things you can do in life, and it's the same for finances. First of all, comparing yourself to others is never accurate. The lens is always skewed. I have clients that once in a while say, I was talking to my buddy on the golf course and he told me he was up 28%. How come I'm only up 19? Well, I don't even like to entertain that because you have no idea what his financial situation is. You have no idea how much debt that person might have. And you don't even know, are you talking about a stock that's up 28%? Are you talking about an IRA? Or are you talking about your entire portfolio? We don't know that. So stop comparing yourself. The lens is skewed. You know everything about yourself, but you are comparing yourself to someone that you know nothing about, especially if they're on Instagram or social media. Social media is a lie. I promise you, you only see what people want you to see. This podcast is a prime example. You don't get to see all the crap that I've been through to get here, but you're seeing the highlight reels. You're seeing the highlights of their life and their financial journey, and they're leaving the rest out. For instance, you might see an Instagrammer, posting about the luxurious vacations, the wedding in Paris, or the fancy clothes and the beautiful homes, but you don't know how much debt is on the other side of that. You don't know if they're 2 months behind on their mortgage or if they owe their parents thousands of dollars. They won't want you to see that. You'll never know. So stop comparing yourself. On the other hand, you do get a front row seat to your story, and you do get to see the darker side of your story. So why are we even comparing your entire story to the highlight reels of somebody else's life that we don't even know? Even if you're comparing yourself to your friends or family members, you're still in a similar situation. You never know as much about them as you know about yourself. So we can't fully understand their financial situation and the thoughts that are going into the tough financial decisions that they are making. You only know the ones that you have to make. Also, another downfall is that when you do compare yourself and you're on the losing end of that, it spirals you into a deep depression, and it's discouraging. It's just not worth it. You find yourself focusing on the negative instead of trying to focus on the positive. You might even start to see your goals as unattainable. It's never going to happen for you. Look at how awesome their life looks, and then look at the misery I'm living in. You focus on your flaws instead of how far that you've come. Thoughts like these will set you back and cause you to make even more negative financial decisions in the long run. As a financial advisor, I do get to see the other side. I do get to see what is actually going on. I know there's fancy trips and massive homes and multiple cars and $1 million portfolios, and all of that is great. But I promise you, it is not as glamorous as it might seem. I'm not saying this is true for everybody, but what I see is a lot of debt. What I see is stress on marriage, stress in your health. I see clients that have millions of dollars and zero relationship with their kids. Why do they expect to have a relationship with their kids when they've dedicated their entire life building their wealth and not building the relationship with their kids? Now, I know I talk about building wealth and experiencing the richness the life has to offer. And I mean that. I want you to build wealth. I want you to build money, but it's not just about money, friends. I promise it's more than that. It's not just about having a multi-million-dollar portfolio with a crappy marriage and no relationship with your kids. It's worthless. It's worthless. Your portfolio is worthless if you don't have something more in life, relationships that matter. I promise it is a lonely place at the top if you don't do it right and design a life that's full of joy and friends and relationships and kids and family. I'll move on from that one. Okay. Number 4, work on forming good habits. Don't shy away from your finances. Don't bury your head in the sand and think that it's not happening or it's going to go away, because it won't. Instead, set aside time each week or maybe each month. My husband and I have a monthly money date, but go over your bills. Work on your value spending plan. Reflect on your spending habits. Highlight the areas that you need to work on, and then congratulate yourself in the areas that you have improved on. You need to do this on a regular basis, weekly or monthly. You need to be able to congratulate yourself. Avoiding any issues will never make it go away. Instead, put your fears aside and face the problems head on. Set realistic goals and reward yourself in small ways when you reach them. When I work with new clients, I often hear, man, I've worked so hard, I never took time to meet with a financial advisor, and this is a lot better than I thought. Or I was scared to even look at this, but this is actually pretty good. I feel relieved. More often than not, you can get your head out of the sand and take the time to look at it. It's not as drastic or it's not as bad as you might feel like it's going to be. And if you need help, listen, if you don't feel like you can do this on your own, find a financial advisor to work with. Find a CFP, someone that can help you and guide you down that roadmap. Number 5, create a value spending plan that brings you joy. Budgets tend to make people nervous. They feel like it's controlling and restricting, and it comes with a negative tone, but it shouldn't be that way. Now, I talk a lot about this in episode 2, so I'm not going to spend a ton of time going over it right now, but essentially, a value spending plan will help you stay within your spending parameters and understand the boundaries while still allowing yourself the freedom and the flexibility to treat yourself today and also invest in yourself for tomorrow. So take a listen to episode 2. You can spend more time on understanding the value spending plan. Number 6, remember to be thankful. Be thankful for everything that you have. It might not be as much as you want, but it's what you have right now, and it's worth celebrating. Be thankful for the roof over your head, the cars that drives you into work, the food that's in your belly, the job that provides the income. Be grateful for everything that you have. There's always time in life to make more money and build a better life, but it will never be enough until you learn to focus on what you have with a grateful heart. If you are going to work on anything, work on developing a heart of gratitude and a giving heart. The more we give with a cheerful heart, the more God is going to bless you. Generosity is the key to unlocking abundance. One of my favorite Bible verses that I memorized with my parents when I was a kid is Luke 6:38. It promises that when we give, it will be given to us, a good measure, pressed down, shaken together, and running over. Dad, if you're listening, that one was for you. Money shouldn't control you or your thoughts around money. Instead, you should control your thoughts around money and in turn, get a better grip about the financial decisions that you're making. Use these tips to get you started and watch how your thoughts and emotions on money start to have a positive effect on your life. Now it's time for today's actionable money tip. I just gave you 6, so hopefully you can apply one of those to your life. But if you want one takeaway, take away this. Practice gratitude. Make it a daily habit to acknowledge and to give thanks for the financial blessings that you already have, no matter how small they may feel. Gratitude opens your heart to receive more. That's it for today's episode of Her Money Revolution. Remember that cultivating a positive money mindset and manifesting wealth is a journey. By taking these 6 practical steps and grounding yourself in faith, you can achieve financial freedom and live a life of abundance. If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe, leave me a review, let me know what you want to hear, share with your friends, and until next time, keep growing towards financial empowerment and making your money work for you. Thank you for joining me today, and I hope you are feeling more empowered in your financial journey. Remember, follow and subscribe to Her Money Revolution on your favorite podcast platform, and share your feedback by leaving a review. I'd love to hear your biggest takeaway from today's episode. Until next time, stay inspired.